Hey guys, this is Nate and I'm back for another audio commentary for WCReplays.com, and unfortunately I haven't been able to get any real good Undead vs. Orc games. I haven't been playing that much past couple weeks because of school, but today I played a couple 2 versus 2s, and I've got a pretty good game here for you guys today. So let's go ahead and load up the replay. The map is Knollwood, and the players are O2 Viet and JohnnyAngel, both of whom you may recognize from previous commentaries of mine, as Night Elf and Human, versus me, WOA Slide, and WOA Master as Undead and Orc. So we're looking at all 4 races here. So let's pause the game at 15 seconds on 1x speed with Fog of War off, so we can see everything that's going on. Alright, so hopefully you guys have reached 15 seconds by now, so let's unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. And put it under the vision of your favorite race. And that's just me telling a couple little jokes. I don't know if you guys watch Chappelle's show, but watch it if you don't, because that show is pure genius. So, as usual, I'm going to be going for Fiends, and my ally, Master, is going to be going for Grunts, as my typical Undead and Orc combination implies. I'm pretty much only playing with Orcs at this point. Once in a while I'll play with a Night Elf, but yeah, I'm not really even playing that much. But yeah, Orc is pretty much the only race I play with at this point. And now our opponents are going to do something a little different, which is cool. JohnnyAngel is going to get Paladin first, as you can see. And this is going to mean that my nuking, which is kind of like the best thing that my strategy offers, which my plan being Fiends, Death Knight, followed up by Lich and statues. So it's clearly a hero nuking based strategy, and that Paladin really neutralizes that a lot, as well as making my heroes much more vulnerable to his own nuke as he adds in the Mountain Kings. We're looking at Stormbolt and Holy Light and Clap and all that, and as you will see, it can be a pretty rough combo. Now I'm just complaining about how fast Wisps are, but Mike being well, Master, Mike being smart and great at 2s and all that, he's like level 24 RT or level 23 RT or something. You know, he's like top 20, top 40, somewhere around there. He's pretty damn good, let me put it that way. This is also the same guy, aka Cool Mike 162, who got the first no-level Archimond worldwide, and so on and so forth. So this guy is pretty good. And so he's like, well, if the Wisp was coming from the left that early, then they must be on your side. I was like, yeah. Now he's like, okay, get a tower. And I'm like, okay. I do usually get a tower at this point, but, you know, just remember to get it this time. Since my side being much more vulnerable to harassment, getting in a Rubian Tower is clearly a very good move. They've gone Demon Hunter Paladin, which seems like a pretty odd combination, but that Demon Hunter with the mana burn is really going to neutralize my heroes a lot, and the Paladin with the healing is going to help a lot as well. So it's really an anti-nuke kind of strategy. And already Mike's Farseer has been detonated and burned, so that's pretty much out of the picture at this point. So my goal is just to creep as quickly as possible while Mike keeps them busy. Clearly it's a good thing if he can get both of them to fight him off. As you can see, their entire army is basically chasing after him, and that means that I can creep freely. And you know, if I can get that level 3 while everyone else's heroes are sitting at level 1, that's a big advantage. So that's something to go for. Now I just got surrounded, which isn't good. And he actually lets them kill him. Not necessarily a terrible move, not necessarily worth losing the TP for level 1 hero, but not a great move to get surrounded either. So at this point I'm just chugging those skeletons, pumping them out, whatever you want to call them, to creep as quickly as possible. A little recklessly, really. It's not necessarily a great idea to use them that quickly, but whatever. It's not such a big deal. They're very important in this, although, well, they're really not. It's very easy to not get skeletons when you've got an orc partner, because you can simply buy healing salves from your partner's shop and heal up your Death Knight, so you can actually use him. He's got a lot of armor. He's actually a pretty good tank. It's just that he can't be healed without statues usually, but with those healing salves you can actually heal him up pretty effectively. And so I would definitely recommend doing that if you don't want to get an early shop in your build, which a lot of undeads don't like to do, especially when going fiends. So that's just another option. So clearly I'm already level 2. Our opponents are 2 and 2, and Mike's Farseer is almost 2. So we're actually pretty much even on the levels at this point. But no one has a really distinct advantage, I wouldn't say. Now the build I'm using in this game, I like to do a lot when I'm going fiends now, and I generally, or pretty much always, I only go fiends in 2 versus 2 at this point. I like to do ghouls versus everything, including orc, even if that means I have to fast expand against them with Dreadlord and all that. But I don't really like going fiends in solo. It's not my thing. I don't know, I just don't micro them that well, as you guys probably noticed. But the fiend build I'm using in this game, I like it a lot. Basically, you tech after the 3rd fiend, and it also lets you get a shop and everything. So it lets you creep very effectively with a Death Knight as opposed to Cryptlord, and you're also not sacrificing that early base defense, and the only thing you're really sacrificing is a slower tech. And generally, what's nice though is that as soon as I hit tier 2, I can start a Lich and a Slaughterhouse and have 5 fiends and level 3 Death Knight. So it works out very nicely for me. Now here we go. I've got that level 2 coil. His Demon Hunter is real low, and so just go right after the Demon Hunter, and I should hit that with a coil anytime now. Bam. And he TP's out. So good move on my part, I suppose, and Mike's. Focusing on the Demon Hunter, team coordination there. And I'm just throwing out those lightning rods on anything I can, and picking off as many units as I can, and doing a pretty good job of it, I think. Now at this point, Mike and I really have an advantage. This is why I was kind of a little reluctant to choose this replay, because it is a bit one-sided, and I apologize for that, but it also is a little bit of a different strategy, which I wanted you guys to see. Now, O2.Viet just expanded. Now, the place he put that expansion is not particularly good. I think if anywhere he ought to have expanded away from us, that's about as close to us as he could go. And so clearly we're going to stumble across that expansion very quickly, which isn't going to be good for them. But something I've really been kind of learning by losing from a lot lately is that you don't. There's many different ways to press an advantage and take an advantage, and one of those ways, which I always seem to ignore, is that creeping is actually an advantage. Creeping is not just a waste of time. And so you see there, after we won that battle, we didn't go in and attack their base, and we didn't expand, but we did creep, and we got that nice item and, you know, a couple levels off that. So that in itself is an advantage. And what I tend to do in solo is it's always like I gotta, after I win a battle, it's always expand or then attack them further. And I've lost so many games lately against good players where I'll win a battle, walk into their base, and, you know, either just start TPing out immediately, you know, because they go right after my hero, or, you know, I'll lose half my army, and it's just really bad for me. But at this point, our tech is paying off now, and their anti-nuke isn't really paying off. That actually the paladin hasn't been healing at all. It's very important if you're going to be going for paladin as your primary hero that you watch your allies' heroes. And a really good idea, and I just noticed from, you know, back when I played Duel Undead with Mike, back. I don't know if you guys remember those, but I used to play dual undead in 2 versus 2, and what I like to do there is hotkey my allies' heroes, and then that way you can locate them very quickly to death coil them, or hotkey them to your death knight. So like, pick a hotkey I don't use much. I don't use 5 very much. So what I do is I take all the heroes in the game on my side, and then add my death knight to the group, and add even my allies' death knight, and that way you have very quick coil access, and it's really a nice thing to have there. Now here we just got lucky and got the MK before he was able to Holy Light him. Not sure why he used that Divine Shield there. He was going to get away anyway. Well, not necessarily a bad move, so I can't Nova. I gotta say, that Divine Shield lasts one hell of a long time, especially for level 1. Lasts, well, I don't know, but anyway, Mike is in a very dangerous position at this point, since JohnnyAngel can call to arms and potentially surround and kill that Farseer. But he's not doing that. He's kind of just A-clicking. Not the best use. We should really just go for a surround on one of the heroes and try and kill it and force a TP to stay in this game. But it's not really getting there. Now I just keep clicking on this Paladin here. I'm not even like bothering to micro, because I mean, if I can kill the Paladin, the game's pretty much going to end. So I'm just waiting to kill that Paladin, ignoring everything else, and just waiting for the Nova coil on him. And now I see that he's down, and I'm going after the Beastmaster instead. It's all good. Now in this game, I chose, in terms of hotkeying, I chose to put all my Fiends in Group 2 and my Statues and Heroes in Group 1. Again, the Fiends allow me very easy focus fire. You see like these Dryads, Huntresses, stuff like that. Very good to focus fire with the Fiends. And the Heroes targets, I dance my Death Knight so much, there's no point really assigning them a target. The only hero that would really be worth focus firing with is the Lich, which is kind of a flaw in my micro, in like the way I set up my hotkeys, I think, which I definitely agree with. But I definitely find it much easier, instead of having my statues in, say, Group 3 and right-clicking on a hero and having them follow the hero around. The problem with that is that, you know, they often won't be healing, especially if you're dancing that hero. Similarly, if they're in Group 1 and you're A-clicking, they're often not healing your whole army. So really the best thing to do, which I do often, although I didn't do in that game, is to put them in a separate control group and actually control them, and in the battle, you know, move them to the center of your army so they're healing everything. That's really the best thing to do. But anyway, that's game over. I think you guys had a pretty clear picture of what was going on. Hopefully you saw a couple interesting new little things or whatever. Feel free to leave me comments. Again, I apologize, I don't have any particularly good games in my inventory, but I assure you, as of next week, I will be bringing you some exciting new stuff, and a lot of it. So stay tuned for that, and hope you guys enjoyed, and see you next week.